Welcome back, everybody. My name is Keith Blackmore, one of the producers with the Spark Animation Festival. We're here with our Meet the Filmmaker series again. And today we're going to be interviewing a longtime veteran of the animation industry, uh, Joe Mateo. Now, Joe has been at Disney for over 25 years, worked on such films as Meet the Robinsons, Wreck-It Ralph. But now, Joe has made his directorial debut with Skydance and a very deeply personal project that is making its way onto Apple TV Plus, and that is his film Blush. We'd like to welcome to the Spark Animation Festival Joe Mateo. Welcome, Joe.
Oh, thanks, Keith. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Well, 25 years at Disney, and now you are at Skydance. What made you want to change studios?
It's this story, Blush. It's well, that 25 years I think taught me everything I know about and made me like prepared to feel like I can tell this story and direct it. Everything that I've learned all throughout those years. The support of everyone at Disney. But when I started thinking about the story, I guess just because of it being so personal that I wanted to make sure that I find the right home to do it.
Hmm.
And yeah, and that's what led me to Skydance.
Right. So, how did that opportunity to make the short there arise then?
Yeah. So I I arranged a meeting with John Lasseter, who just started there, um, like 2.5 years ago, and we had a great meeting. And she kind of knew who Mary Ann was back at Disney, and know a little bit of what she was going through. And then yeah, I talked to him, to John, about what happened to me, and my reason for wanting to do this short. I didn't pitch any details of the project of the film. It's just yeah, my reason for wanting to do it, and that was enough for John to say that we're making the short.
Wow. So, you just threw
Yeah.
you the idea and he said, okay, here's your budget, Joe. And then you had to start writing, or what'd you do? How did it start then?
Yeah, no, actually, I have it kind of like figured out,
Yeah.
the main beats of the story in my head. And it's funny because when 2 months after that meeting, or maybe like a couple of weeks after that meeting, I moved to Skydance. And then I worked at Skydance for like 2 months boarding on one of their feature films.
Right.
And it's not until 2 months in working in there that I reminded John of, like, hey John, remember that short that I was telling you about? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember him saying, like, so he set up a meeting right away. And I remember going into his office and like pitching it, and I was like, this is it. I remember thinking, this is it.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up. But John was really very I can tell that I got his full attention, and it helped me a lot. Just, I felt comfortable during the pitch. And I remember having this one image that I showed him on my iPhone, and then from that image I started to proceed and pitch the whole film. And John loved the idea of, like, the breathe, right? The representation of love is that, and how you visualize that breathing.
Right.
So, and I saw his eyes kind of light up at the end of it, like, really, there's some he believed that there's something unique about this story. And the message that we're trying to do is worth getting out there.
Yeah. Well,
So
sorry, I was
yeah,
gonna say,
go ahead.
John's a great storyteller
Oh
himself.
my God, he's a master, Keith,
Yeah.
and we all know that. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 So,
and
but this is
yeah,
your first time writing. Your first time writing and directing.
yeah. We're kind of like, I have when we storyboard, we kind of write, right? I mean, we write in thumbnails and visually. You
Right.
know, sometimes I write my beats down before I draw them. So we kind of write, but this is the first time that I really like thought about a whole story from beginning to end, and and yeah, I've most of it got shaped in storyboarding too. So uh, I know I know that I wrote it, but I had help from John and the rest of our story crew to kind of like shape it to what it is now, you know. And we're fortunate to have like a great working storyboard reel that helped us in the production of of Blush, and our our editor too. And we have a great editorial team who was key to like putting
Right.
that reel together, you know.
The look of it is really distinct as well. Um, what inspired the look of it? I mean, there's like the spiral designs and the colors and even the characters. Maybe tell us about the character design even as well.
Yeah, so I'm not a character designer, but John loved my storyboards, so it was just Joe, just take a pass at it, basically. So I did, and well, I kind of like drawing on that deform, uh, um, like style already,
Yeah.
but it just makes sense to me that our setting is this mini planet to kind of like squish the characters so they fit right in. You know, everything there, like the succulents, even though they look realistic, they're all kind of squished, or deformed so that everything's kind of like they feel like they live together and it looks natural. Um, and what else? I think you were asking
Yeah.
about.
So I was asking about not just the characters, but the look of the film. There's
Yeah.
the spiral design, the
Yep.
colors, and that. It's very distinct.
Yeah, Keith. That spiral design that wasn't part of my the design. When I was thinking about it, the spiral wasn't part of it. It was our art director Julian Romero
Mm.
over at Madrid, who I issued him the tree, right, to design the mango tree, and then he came up with all these versions, and there's one with like a spiral movement to it, and that right there, I get goosebumps talking about it because it's such a key moment in our film, And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, it just totally makes sense. And spiral symbolizes life. And that's what the alien brings to that planet.
Right.
And what I love about it too, Keith, is when she's passing away and you see that effects kind of like going, like moving, like spirally rising up, right? Um,
Yeah.
it becomes like a celebration of her life, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
she's passing away. There's something really beautiful and kind of ironic but beautiful about it.
Well, I love visual storytelling, and I love films that do that. Animation. Some of my favorite animated shorts are that. And this is what you've succeeded to do is do that visual storytelling, but also with beautiful music that adds the emotion, provides the emotion. Who was doing the score for that film? Who was that?
Joy Miao. And we found her through, we had a mixer at Skydance Animation, and and then we got her name from one of our friends there at work. So we had like three composers that we listened to their demo, and Joy kind of stood out for me. There's
Mm,
something really different about her music, and I feel like it fits right with what we're trying to do. And the funny thing about when we told Joy to like, hey, take a pass at like um a section of the film, and just do like a theme, and we're very big on a memorable theme. That's the first thing that John talked to me about when we started talking about the music. We have to make sure that we have a really good theme. And Joy took a pass at the moment where she turns, and for me that was like, it was a game, one of the those game changers. You know, I saw that and it made me feel something, and it was very ethereal, different with the breathing that she added. It was already there. And the first pass on the theme, I think that was it. You know, we tried elevating it, but we kept going back to how she originally designed
Okay.
it to be. It's just that it was that beautiful, and um,
It's
you know,
interesting that you said that because I find, recently, even for myself, it's music that triggers the memories. And it's all those important moments in life, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, but it's
yeah.
that music. And this is what's triggered it for you in this film. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure you noticed that there's no music. You know, we intended it to be like completely quiet, just
Mhm.
to, help that idea, to really enforce the idea that he's alone. You know, it's not
Yeah.
until that alien turns around, color starts to happen, the music starts to happen. Um, she was his savior, basically.
Yeah, yeah. This was your first time directing, as we mentioned. Was it what? How different was this experience for you? What were the challenges for you in directing?
Oh, yeah, I thought of, when I thought about it, looking back, I was like, I remember being kind of like scared, right? And then I remember talking myself into it, like, oh, you've been in the animation for 25 years, you can do it, you know enough. And I was so wrong, right? Like, there's so many. Oh my God. Thank God for like the help of. I've gotten so much support from people at Skydance. Just, you know, when I remember meetings where I wasn't sure what to do, but all these people, all these geniuses are kind of like, I I I got a lot of help. This
Yeah.
movie wouldn't have gotten made without everyone's support, and so but yeah, I remember one moment to talk about like like a a difficult moment in the production. I remember issuing. We had to record it because of the time difference with Madrid, and I remember issuing that sequence where she passes, right. And I remember talking about the camera move, all the technical stuff. And then I got into like the emotion and what that scene means. And I remember falling apart and sobbing uncontrollably in front of like maybe 8 or 10 people on Zoom. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm making everyone so uncomfortable, right? But then I looked up and everyone was like crying with me. And I was very touched, and I felt from that moment on, I felt like this is a safe space. My message for the short is to surround yourself with people you love.
Yeah.
And I felt loved at that moment of like all these people kind of like, instead of like feeling awkward and turning their camera off, they were there. It was
Well,
one of
you
those special, memorable moments that I had making, so many of those.
well, you're taking a deeply personal moment of your life, and you've turned it into this very public experience. Now, I know the backstory and some, but our audience might not know the backstory. What is the backstory? What was the inspiration for your film here?
Yeah, so I lost my wife, Marianne, from cancer 4.5 years ago. And it was that night when I lost her that I found myself not being able to breathe. I didn't know what it was. And a doctor friend of ours, I had to call him, like, what's going on with me? I remember being so scared. And he was like, Joe, you're having a panic attack. I didn't know that was panic attack. That's the first time it happened to me. And I struggled to go back to work after that for several months. Uh, and then I kept looking back to that moment of like how I wasn't able to breathe, and realizing that Marianne was my heir, and my kids. Luckily, my kids were close to me when it happened, and they they saved me, and I was just inspired to like share that message of that losing a loved one can be overcome by surrounding yourself with people you love, and it helped me, and shaping that story actually naturally helped me go back into what I do, which is storyboarding.
Right.
So there's something beautiful that happened there.
But you've also put your wife into the film as well. And that's
Yeah.
the very title, I think, isn't it? With
Oh
Blush.
yeah. Yep. Blush is the reason why it's called Blush is because of how we met in college. First week of college, in our classroom, I hear this laughter coming from across our big classroom, right? And it's and then I walked over there, and she's like the one of the smallest person in our class, I think. But her laugh is so like infectious. So when she turned, she blushed, and I thought she was into me because she turned like really red, Keith. Like she changed color. For me, it was love at first sight, but for her, it was like she just that's her thing. Her nickname in high school was Ketchup. So it's like, but for me it was too late. I
Yeah.
was already so charmed by her that I ended up pursuing her, and the rest is yeah.
You were smitten.
Oh, totally, totally. Um,
Well, I mean, like I say, a very deeply personal moment in your life, making it public, and then there's obviously emotional challenges along the way, as you mentioned, but also practical challenges. Was there any notable production challenges in making this film for you?
um, nothing beyond the usual stuff, I think. And for me, the most challenging in all my years of like working in animation, I think the most challenging really is like figuring out the story, right?
Yeah.
And we were fortunate to, like I said, have a story reel that's working. Our storyboard reel is like 90, if not 100%, represents the final film that we have right now. So uh technical challenges, not a lot, because like I said, I have so much support, and I just trust in the skill and you know the geniuses that I worked with at Skydance Madrid and here. So
Yeah, yeah. It's when you look back, I mean, this is obviously it was almost cathartic. It was a cathartic moment for you to do this.
very.
And so, would you say this is your first and last short, or you have more planned?
I like I said, I love working with our crew, and
Yeah.
it was how do you say that? I got bitten by the by the bug. So I mean, I really enjoy doing it. So I'm toying with other ideas, and if it would I if I'm given the opportunity, I would love to continue doing it. So
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about your working at Skydance because we're not overly familiar with the studio. So tell us, what is the culture like there? What is it? What are they working on, for example, there right now?
we have feature films and like series. We're working on series too. Um, yeah, and there's a feature film I think that's coming out next year, and I'm working on the third one. Um, it's still kind of in development, and what I can say, what I love about Skydance, like they they created a space of diversity and inclusion where employees of all backgrounds are encouraged to share their voice and more importantly be heard. So I just felt comfortable, like I said, telling this very, very personal story because of that. You know, I needed that space. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're working on a third upcoming feature,
mhm.
and for you, what's next on the horizon personally, and anything else?
um, for me, I'm just gonna ride this blush wave for now, and you know, I'm
Okay.
enjoying it. I'm enjoying meeting people, Keith. I love talking to you. I just want to keep doing this, and for now, and then after blush, let's I'm just gonna sit down and figure out what my next steps are. But for now, I just wanna savor this moment. Like really, this is special. What we're
Abs-
sharing with the world, you know.
Absolutely. Sharing it with the world and your family. Well, Joe, this has been a real pleasure. We really look forward to having you back at Spark. And until then, we wish you all the best. And all our audience out there, we hope that you can continue to enjoy watching Blush streaming on Apple Plus now. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Keith.
My pleasure.
You're awesome.